Welcome back, fellow time travelers, to another captivating journey through the annals of history and genetics. Today we delve into the mesmerizing world of familial resemblance as we explore the fascinating phenomenon of grandchildren with an uncanny likeness to their legendary grandparents. From the ethereal charm of Audrey Hepburn to the rugged charisma of Steve McQueen, the echoes of these iconic figures reverberate through the generations, manifesting in the striking features and shared traits of their descendants. Join us as we uncover the latest discoveries and delve into the genetic tapestry that binds past and present, weaving a narrative that transcends time. In this era of genetic exploration and technological marvels, prepare to be enthralled as we unveil the mysteries of heritage in 2024. Welcome to a world where the past and the present collide in a kaleidoscope of family ties and timeless allure, where grandchildren become living tributes to the legends who came before them. Welcome to Past Paradise, grandchildren who look like their legendary grandparents. Audrey Hepburn and granddaughter Emma Ferrer. Given her illustrious career and timeless elegance, Audrey Hepburn is the kind of actress who doesn't require an introduction. She remains a pop cultural and fashion icon even if times have changed. Her granddaughter, model Emma Ferrer, inherited her excellent features from her parents. Emma has been posing for photographers and working in modeling for a while now. She gave acting a go in 2019 and was cast in the art house film Man in the Attic. Debbie Reynolds and granddaughter Billie Lourd. During Hollywood's golden age of acting, Debbie Reynolds was one of the leading ladies. Despite passing in 2016, her Singing in the Rain performance has made her famous. She is the mother of Carrie Fisher, a famous Star Wars character with a daughter called Billie Lourd. Lourd has been a breakout star in recent years, appearing in films such as American Horror Story and the Star Wars trilogy with her mother from 2015 to 2019. She demonstrated that show business and acting remain in the family. Elvis Presley and granddaughter Riley Keough. Elvis Presley, known as the King of Rock, popularized rock and permanently changed the music business. Nobody has been able to recreate the artistry of Elvis Presley. Unfortunately, millions were shocked and in awe at the unexpected demise. Knowing that his granddaughter will follow in his footsteps in the spotlight would have pleased this rock and roll icon. Keough, the actress and daughter of Lisa Marie Presley, has collaborated with filmmaker Steve Soderbergh on several films. Additionally, she was the director's initial pick for the contentious television series The Girlfriend Experience. She's now the sole trustee of Lisa Marie Presley's estate. Clark Gable and grandson Clark James Gable. Clark Gable was an actor that few performers could keep up with. His career has been one of pinpoint success. He acted in some of the most significant films, including Gone with the Wind and It Happened One Night. He starred as the leading male for several well-known women, including Joan Crawford and Vivien Leigh. Clark James Gable, his grandson, could carry most of his grandfather's traits, including his charming nature and devilishly gorgeous looks. Clark James Gable, who hosted the television program Cheaters, died in 2019 from an overdose. He was just 30 years old. Samuel Goldwyn and grandson Tony Goldwyn. One of the people who helped create contemporary film was Samuel Goldwyn, a studio owner during Hollywood's golden age. Poland's Warsaw was the place of his birth, and he was driven to pursue the American dream. As they say, dreams do come true, and he soon earned a life and a fortune from it. However, Tony Goldwyn, his grandson, attempted to pursue a career in Hollywood similar to that of his grandfather. Carl Brunner, a character in the Patrick Swayze movie Ghost, had his first big break. He portrayed President Fitzgerald Grant III of the United States on the television series Scandal from 2012 to 2018. Elizabeth Taylor and grandson Quinn Teevee. Elizabeth Taylor was a remarkable actress with a strong presence who was well known for various things. However, like other Hollywood stars, she had a turbulent romantic history. Because of her several relationships and opulent lifestyle, she could generate as much press as her films. At the time of her death in 2011, her net worth was $481 million. Her grandson, Quinn TV, has carried on her legacy by helping others impacted by AIDS. Even with the cameras turned off, he said his grandma still appeared bigger than life. Charlie Chaplin and granddaughter Una Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin is someone whom many contemporary comedies may claim to respect, at least in part. He invented the genre as one of the first comics to air on television and made tragic tales look humorous at the time. Una, the granddaughter, was chosen to appear in the popular HBO series Game of Thrones. Even though she had a little role, participating in a series like this has helped her career. She's starring in future Avatar sequels. John Barrymore and granddaughter Drew Barrymore. Even though his granddaughter is much more famous, John Barrymore was a significant figure in his day. Though he was open to doing light comedies, highlighting his flexibility, he favored tragic parts. Nevertheless, since her grandpa died many years before Drew was born, she was not permitted to meet him. However, that doesn't alter the fact that their destiny has produced some gifted performers. Blythe Danner and granddaughter Apple Martin. At 77 years old, Blythe Danner is a phenomenon rather than merely an actor, and her talents speak for themselves. She has been collecting awards from Tony to Emmy and has appeared in several films, including What They Had, I'll See You in My Dreams, and many more. She is the mother of Hollywood actress Gwyneth Paltrow, who has starred in many films and played Iron Man's Tony Stark's on-screen wife in the Marvel Avengers series. Apple Martin was born in 2004, the year she wed Chris Martin. Despite just being 15 years old, Apple had an $150 million market valuation. She's now 19 and studying at Vanderbilt University. Wellington Mara and granddaughter Kate Mara. Although being born into a dynasty might be challenging, Kate Mara didn't appear to view it that way. She has appeared in several films, including Brokeback Mountain, The Martian, and Open Road. Her grandfather was Tim Mara's founder's son and a co-owner of the New York Giants. Berry Gordy and grandson Sky Blue. Berry Gordy was the man who started Motown Records and was a trailblazer in transforming contemporary music. To add to the intrigue, he is a composer as well. Sky Blue, his grandson, has the same abilities as his grandpa. Sky Blue is a member of the group LMFAO, a record producer, and a rapper. When it comes to music, Sky Blue, Skylar Gordy, has got a few things from his grandpa. Berry Gordy and granddaughter Mahogany Locks. This family has a long history with music. Mahogany Locks is Sky Blue's sister and Berry Gordy's granddaughter. In 2015, she published her debut song, Boom, which went viral on social media. While starting to make a name for herself in the music industry, she was requested to join Fifth Harmony's tour. Following this, she continued to hone her craft and produce new songs, and in 2019, she released the song Take Your Man. Walter Houston and granddaughter Angelica Houston. It's obvious that Angelica has a well-known father, but did you also know that her grandpa was well-known? Her grandpa, Oscar-winning actor Walter Houston, died just a year after she was born. Like her grandpa, who was recognized for his work in his son's film, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Angelica received an Oscar for her role in Prizzi's Honor. Throughout her career in show business, she received several nominations. Roxy Roker and granddaughter Zoe Kravitz. Roxy Roker portrayed Helen Willis on the well-liked CBS comedy The Jeffersons from 1975 until 1985. But one thing that this family has in common is show business. Her son, Lenny Kravitz, is an incredible rock star, and her granddaughter, Zoe Kravitz, is an aspiring actress. Elia Kazan and granddaughter Zoe Kazan. Elia Kazan is an amazing filmmaker who has helmed several successful films, including On the Waterfront and A Streetcar Named Desire. However, the fruit does not fall far from the tree when it comes to this family. Zoe Kazan, his granddaughter, began her trek in the Hollywood jungle in 2003. She has since acted in many films, including The Ballad of Buster, Scruggs, and What If. She also took part in a few Broadway musicals and tried her hand at working in a different setting. She co-wrote and starred in She Said, 2022. Jane Fonda and granddaughter Viva Vadim. Viva Vadim, Jane Fonda's granddaughter, is protesting climate change action this year, along with many others, carrying on her grandmother's legacy. She reminds us so much of her grandma when they were the same age that we couldn't help but notice it. Lucille Ball and great-granddaughter Desiree Anzalone. There are advantages to being the great-granddaughter of an executive producer of a well-known series. Due to the success of the I Love Lucy series, Desiree Anzalone was able to inherit her great-grandparents' fortune. Lucille Ball was an iconic figure in comedy throughout the 1950s. She was strikingly similar to her great-granddaughter. Desiree Anzalone passed away in 2020. Gregory Peck and grandson Ethan Peck. Gregory Peck was one of those lucky performers with stunning good looks and extraordinary skill. Because of these qualities, he rose to prominence in Hollywood and won the Best Actor Oscar for portraying Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. But elements of his appearance and characteristics have been passed down to his grandson, especially when it comes to fixing his hair. Ethan Peck stings in popular films like Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, and Star Trek Discovery. Steve McQueen and grandson Stephen R. McQueen. In the 1960s and 1970s, Steve McQueen was known as the King of Cool due to his sophisticated image and exceptional acting skills. Racing was his passion, which his grandson Stephen R. McQueen has carried on. After appearing in 6 seasons of the renowned adolescent fantasy series The Vampire Diaries, Stephen R. McQueen moved on to feature in Chicago Fire, another popular television program. Roald Dahl and granddaughter Sophie Dahl. Are you familiar with the tales of Matilda and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? This individual, Roald Dahl, created all of them. He has penned many books for adults. Writing runs in the family since his granddaughter picked up this specific talent. Sophie has been a published author of many novels since 2003. The Man with the Dancing Eyes was the first book she had ever written. But writing wasn't her first endeavor. She began her career as a runway model in 1997 after being discovered by a Vogue magazine stylist. She served as inspiration for her grandfather's book, The BFG, as well. Cyril Cusack and grandson Max Irons. Given his extensive filmography, it is hard to choose one of Cyril Cusack's roles that made him most famous. His career lasted more than 70 years, thanks to a mix of Hollywood films and Irish-language ventures. Max, his grandson, aspired to be like him and got a major part in the 2011 film Red Riding Hood. Ringo Starr and granddaughter Tatia Starkey. Although some claim Ringo is the least popular band member, he silenced his detractors by rising to fame on a global scale. His current net worth is an astounding $278 million. His family is passionate about music, with a granddaughter carrying on the family tradition and a son performing with The Who. The fact that the granddaughter, Tatia Starkey, played bass and sings for the band Bellicus demonstrates unequivocally that music runs in the family. Lloyd Bridges and grandson Jordan Bridges. In Hollywood, acting demands a lot of work. This was the case for actor Lloyd Bridges. Among the 150 feature films in which Lloyd had acted were High Noon, Sahara, and Sea Hunt. He received a star on the renowned Walk of Fame before his death in 1998. Jordan Bridges, the son of actor Beau Bridges, began his acting career as a child. appearing in his father's films until he was cast as Frank Rizzoli Jr. in the popular television series Rizzoli and Isles on TNT. Bob Marley and grandson Zion David Marley. Bob Marley pioneered and made possible the reggae music that we all know and enjoy today. One of the most recognizable and well-liked musicians of all time, he started his career in his native Jamaica, where he released his debut singles Redemption Song, One Love, No Woman Can Cry, and Three Little Birds. His children inherited his musical prowess, including Rohan Marley, who wed Lauryn Hill, and Zion Marley, his grandchild. Tippi Hedren and granddaughter Dakota Johnson. Although Dakota Johnson, the lead character in the 50 Shades movie series, is a well-known celebrity in her own right, you may not be aware that she is the granddaughter of Tippi Hedren, a well-known actress from the golden age of Hollywood. After being discovered by filmmaker Alfred Hitchcock, Hedren transitioned from her first job as a fashion model to the film industry. Marnie, 1964, and The Birds, 1963, are her best-known pieces. Jackie Kennedy Onassis and granddaughter Rose Schlossberg. As you can see from these two pictures, Rose Kennedy Schlossberg is often compared to her grandmother, the late First Lady Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Schlossberg chose to pursue a career in acting, so she didn't exactly follow in her family's political footsteps. Her mother is Caroline Kennedy, the only surviving child of Jackie O. Kennedy and a former American ambassador to Japan, as well as John F. Kennedy. Gracie Kelly and granddaughter Camille Gottlieb. Camille Gottlieb, Grace Kelly's granddaughter, is a true princess. Kelly's 1956 marriage to Prince Rainier III of Monaco is the reason behind this. Camille's father was a palace guard who never married Princess Stephanie, so while her mother, Princess Stephanie, is 14th in line for the Moroccan throne, Camille is not. Paul McCartney and his grandson, Arthur Donald. Have you ever seen a picture like this before? Most definitely not. As the eldest grandson of Paul McCartney of the Beatles, Arthur Donald is a Yale University student who is gifted academically, even if he isn't carrying on his grandfather's musical legacy. And based on how he seems, he's just as awesome as his grandfather. Carmen Coppola and grandson Nicolas Cage. The renowned Coppola family, an Italian-American acting and filmmaking dynasty, was headed by the renowned actor and director Carmen. His most well-known compositions are from the Godfather movies, Apocalypse Now, and The Outsiders, helmed by Francis Ford Coppola, his son. Actor Nicolas Cage is well known, but you may not know that the Coppola family owns him. He finally changed his name to set himself apart from his well-known ancestors. Marlon Brando and grandson Tuki Brando. Of course, Marlon Brando was one of the greatest performers of all time, but it's fascinating to note that it seems his grandson has chosen to pursue a career in fashion modeling quite differently. Tuki Brando had a challenging upbringing. His mother died when he was just 5 years old, leaving him in the care of his grandmother, and his father was murdered by his mother's half-brother before he was ever born. Tuki, however, has attended medical school and had a very successful career as an international fashion model. Isn't he exactly the spitting image of his grandfather? He is now a model and doctor. Kirk Douglas and grandson Cameron Douglas. The older Douglas, whose real name was Isser Danielovich, was renowned for his explosive acting, mostly used in westerns, tragedies, and war movies. He belonged to the last generation of Hollywood's golden age of cinema stars. Cameron Douglas became an actor, following in the footsteps of his grandpa and father, Michael Douglas. The whole Douglas family appeared in the comedy film It Runs in the Family, 2003, which was set in a dysfunctional but affluent New York City household. Sadly, Cameron's life has been hampered by drug misuse and many jail terms, but after his 2016 release, he has published a book and seems to be back on his feet. Bob Dylan and grandson Pablo Dylan. Not only do Bob Dylan and his grandson Pablo Dylan have similar hairstyles, but they also have a similar interest in music. Interestingly, Pablo began his musical career in a different genre, hip-hop, becoming just the second member of the Dylan family to do so after his grandpa. Pablo's time as a rapper was regrettably mostly wasted, and he is now putting his efforts into folk rock just as his grandpa did. Pablo Dylan focused on folk rock. Frank Sinatra and granddaughter A.J. Lambert. Just think about the demands placed on you as a member of the Sinatra family. Being Frank Sinatra's granddaughter and Nancy Sinatra's daughter, A.J. Lambert knows precisely what this is like. Even though Lambert is a musician in her own right, she believes that her previous musical endeavors were extremely unlike those of her grandpa. Before embracing her singing voice and starting to perform certain Frank Sinatra songs in her 40s, she was a punk bassist. Lambert's sound was previously characterized by Mojo as mixing alt-rock with smoky cabaret. Albert Einstein and grandson Bernhard Einstein. Of the three known biological grandkids of Albert Einstein, Bernhard Caesar was the only one to survive infancy. Although he was born in Germany, he and his family immigrated to the U.S. during the height of the Nazi Party's growth at the older Einstein's recommendation. As a child, Bernhard would visit his grandpa, who was also interested in classical music, in upstate New York and New Jersey. Like his grandpa, Bernhard majored in physics in college, but eventually became an engineer. Bernhard Einstein passed away on September 30th, 2008.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon